This is Visitor's Book, and I'm Maija, your host. In this program, we're going to be meeting with diplomats and foreigners who live here in Pakistan, and we're going to find out what they really think about the country. So let's go. So our guest today is Ismail Yunus, a Palestinian doctor who lives here in Islamabad. So let's go meet with him. Hi Ismail, so nice to meet you.
Hi, thank you. Nice to meet you too.
So you're originally Palestinian, but you basically grew up in Kuwait, right?
Yeah.
How did you end up in Pakistan? How long ago was that?
Actually, my father used to work in Kuwait, and you know, like when my elder brothers, they wanted to continue their education, so my dad have chosen Pakistan. So we came to Pakistan in 1993, end of 1993 or mid of 1993,
Right.
don't exactly remember.
Okay.
I was like around 8 years at that time.
Oh, that's
So
pretty young.
yeah, we came here, and Alhamdulillah, yes, my elder brothers, you know, like elder brothers and sisters, actually, they've started their education here and they have done their universities. And it was my school time, so I was at school.
Yeah.
So we lived here since 1993, and we are settled, and we have gotten the Pakistani nationality as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but as well we kept the Palestinian nationality. You know, like
Right.
it can't be changed in the end. So
Yeah.
we are Palestinian in origin, living in Pakistan, having the Pakistani nationality. All of us.
Yeah.
All of us. Yeah.
And you've actually never been to Palestine?
Actually, yeah, we are refugees. We have been refugees,
exactly.
you know, like even when we were in Kuwait, and we are still refugees. We have the passport, a Palestinian passport for international traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got the nationality here in Pakistan, and then we have continued. All of us, we have continued their education, and my elder brothers are, you know, like working, and even now me.
Yeah.
I'm the second last, by the way,
Yeah.
among 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were really young when you came here. Did you have any kind of an idea what Pakistan was, what kind of a country you were moving to? What did your parents tell you?
Actually, the only thing I remember that before coming to Pakistan, they used to tell us that it's a very green country.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and when we really came, you know, like from Kuwait, it's totally not, there is no
desert,
greenery at all
basically,
in Kuwait, so it was a big difference. And when we came to Lahore. And Lahore, as you might have visited Lahore, it is very green, and very green city, you know, like at every corner there are trees, there are,
Right.
you know, greenly grass, and it is as well as a very lively and lovely city, Lahore, by the way. We had a very good experience in Lahore. We have lived there for 3 years.
Okay.
The Lahori peoples, as per I remember, because, you know, 3 years, like from 8 till I was 8 years old, till almost 11, I was there in Lahore. So the people were so cooperative,
Right.
so lovely, so loving as well, you know. And as they used to know that we are Arabs in origin, they used to love us. When they used to know that we are Palestinians especially, they used to love us more.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
nice.
so we got a lot of, you know, like a loving environment in Lahore, with Lahoris especially. There were, of course, a lot of foreigners there. We were in contact or in touch with them, but you know, most of them were students, my elder brothers, and you know, like friends and colleagues, you know. But in general, we were living between Pakistanis,
Yeah,
Pakistani
okay.
society. At that time, we used to study in the Saudi school here in Islamabad, but as a distance studies.
Yeah.
So we were living in Lahore, and we used just to come to give our exams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So by time then we came to Islamabad in 1996.
Huh. It must have been a very different city at the time, right?
In 1996, Islamabad was so extremely empty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was, you know, like a jungle all over around, you know, like
Really?
here and there. Yeah, a lot of sectors were, like where we are sitting now in G11, it wasn't
Didn't exist, basically.
at all.
Yeah.
At all. It was an absolute, a total jungle area.
Wow.
And it was so quiet, so clean, so you know, calm. And the school, when we joined the school, we came, you know, with the Arab society as well. We came into contact with Arab society. So it was a little different. It was a big difference.
Yeah.
Lahore is a very rushy city, fast city, and
course.
lively city.
Yeah.
Islamabad was so quiet. It wasn't bad, by the way. It wasn't bad for us, you know, because everywhere, honestly speaking, wherever we used to go from city to other, even so when I studied in my university in Karachi, I've lived there for 6 years. So again, the same love, the same respect, the same cooperation I have got from Pakistani all the time, honestly speaking.
How did you feel about moving to a totally new, different country from Kuwait, being so young? Were you excited or a little bit nervous?
I can't, like remember exactly.
Yeah.
I was 8 years, but I was excited in the beginning, and then we came, like it was a kind of shock. Like I cannot understand whatever's happening around me.
Yeah.
I didn't have any idea about the language. I didn't even know English at that time. I was just 8 years.
Yeah.
Our mother tongue, as you know, it's Arabic. So it was that was the difficult. But among 9 of us, I was the first one to learn Urdu.
Okay.
Yeah, I used
cool.
to have a lot of friends, neighbor friends. So I used to play with them all the time, So football and different stuff. So we have learned. I have learned Urdu. The first one among all my siblings. I was the first one to learn Urdu, and I got with the flow.
Yeah. I mean, if we compare your experience in Kuwait as a Palestinian refugee to how you were received here in Pakistan, was there any difference how people treated you?
In Kuwait, actually, like 8 years boy, my experience was very short because, let's say my memory have started, I can recall since I was 6.
Yeah.
It was a very small period, so I don't have that much, memories in that area in this regard, especially.
Okay.
Fine, but overall, what I used to hear from my father and my brothers, it was a good experience. My father and my mother and all our family members, they have spent more than 20 years in Kuwait.
Right. That's a long
And
time.
it was a good time.
Yeah.
According to my parents, they used to tell us that how good time it was. And the situation there was so stable. Kuwait is so stable state overall, and education is so strong. So everyone, thank Kuwait for that thing. When my elder brothers, siblings, when they came here, they were having a very good education, and it was a good experience overall. We have spent the war there, by the way, when Saddam have attacked Kuwait. We have spent the war there, and I remember that era, by the way. I remember that period of time. For me, it was fun. We were just, going, doing nothing, playing all the time. There were no responsibility for my brothers, no schooling, no work even for my dad. So we were totally, most of the time, we were gathering. But when I hear the stories, when I come to know it was a bad days, for the family, everything was stopped, everything was sealed. The firing was at its peak at all the time, it was a hell kind of 10 months. But for me, it was just, like a free time. I have enjoyed playing
so
with,
young,
that's the point. But so overall, the experience in Kuwait, of course, I cannot say it was anything related or near to bad. It was good. As far as I remember, as far as I used to hear and still hearing from my parents and elder brothers.
What about the Palestinian community? Did you used to mainly move around Palestinian circles in Kuwait, or was it totally mixed, nobody really cared about where somebody was from?
In Kuwait, especially, the 2 years I spent in school, I was all the time with Kuwaitis. I didn't have any Palestinians in the school with me. So the whole time we were, I was with Kuwaitis. My family members, they have spent, of course, with Kuwaitis, with Palestinians, with Egyptians, with different, Kuwait was also one of the hub where all, Arabs from different Arab countries, people who used to live there in Kuwait.
Right.
It was a good, it was, as I told you, it was a very stable state, and it very fast growing and good education. So there were a lot of different people from different countries living in Kuwait. So, and my very good father friends, they are Kuwaitis, and I remember 2 or 3 years back, a friend of my brother, he came here as a diplomat, and by chance he met my brother, and as he came to know that we are here, his father traveled all the way from Kuwait just to visit my dad.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that how strong our friendship was, with Kuwaitis. Yeah. So that's the experience here in Pakistan. Of course, living with different communities. Of course, I have studied in the Saudi school.
So you mentioned that your parents left 20 years ago. I mean, they lived in Kuwait for 20 years before. And what was it that made them leave Palestine in the beginning?
Palestine. what made my parents leave Palestine in the beginning was my dad went for his education in Egypt.
Okay.
And there he got married to my mom, who is Egyptian by origin, by the way. And after finishing his education from Al-Azhar University, so he found a job there in Kuwait, and he left to Kuwait, he and my mom. So half of us were, let's say half or three of us were born in Egypt. The remaining were born in Kuwait.
Right.
Yeah. So and the main thing, you know, like my father got counted as a refugee. He was, I don't exactly remember what was that peace talk in which, you know, like they have decided who's out of Palestine, he's a refugee and he cannot come back, something like that. I don't really, you know, remember that thing. But yeah, then he was counted as a refugee.
Yeah.
So we were counted as a refugee because of that. So since then we are living out of Palestine.
Yeah. How much has that affected your life, the refugee status? Has it like been a sort of a hurdle in your life, or is it just something that you have to live with?
See, as a hurdle, you know, hurdle always makes things, you know, more good, more better, you know, like the difficult period of time makes you more stronger, makes you more, you know, challenge. You go into a more challenge. So I don't believe it was a hurdle. I believe it was a supporting situation for all of us, you know, like we have to survive. To be a survivor, you have to do a lot, you have to learn a lot, you have to work a lot. So yes, of course, you will feel that you are different. That's something natural.
Yeah.
Even if you go from a city to another, like even if you are from like if you are a Pakistani, living, you are originally from some area and you are living in another area. So definitely you will feel that there is a difference.
Yeah.
The language, the race, the color, you know, like everything is different. And you know, like whatever you will do, our accent cannot be a perfect Pakistani accent in the end.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a difference, but there is no hurdle. And especially, again, I'm telling you, Pakistani people are so loving.
Yeah.
Pakistani people are so cooperative. They didn't make us feel that we are away from our country, honestly speaking. They, you know, I feel that it was a plus point for us. That, you know, Pakistan used to see that we are Palestinians, you are always welcome. Everything is extra facilitated, you know, just being a foreigner or just being a Palestinian. That was an extra, you can say, bonus or plus point for us. You know, like you are a Palestinian brother. Beit al-Maqdis, whenever we say, they say Beit al-Maqdis. You are from Beit al-Maqdis, please welcome, please come, please do, please get whatever you like. You are welcomed here. Please do whatever you like. Please just do it, and you know, don't think about anything, you know, like any reward or something. We don't need anything. You are a Palestinian, then you are allowed to do, you are welcome for, you know, for everything. So that's the point, you know, like being welcomed, being helped, being cooperated by the Pakistani society was, you know, a main point that we have, you know, lived overall. The other part, as I've mentioned, you know, like you have to struggle because, you know, you don't have the language in the beginning. You don't have the language, you don't have the accent, so you'll have to work more hard. You have to prove yourself. You have to be a good person. You should keep your reputation and keep your country reputation and your family reputation good. So that was, you know, a kind of challenging point for us, or challenging, you know, thing for us to be more good, more strong, more perfect, and work accordingly, and prove yourself, study harder, work harder, and be a better person overall. So I believe that it is not a hurdle. I believe it is a challenge that everyone, especially Palestinians, especially a refugee person, do face and has to win this challenge. Otherwise, he will be, you know, like giving a bad name for your race, for your country, for your religion. This will be the challenging point of always, all the time. So it was actually a strong challenge, I believe. It was a very tough challenge, I believe, but it wasn't a bad challenge. It was a challenge for good. It was a challenge to be a better person overall. That's it.
All right, time to take a short break. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with Ismail Yunus, a Palestinian doctor. So, Ismail, you mentioned that you were studying here in Islamabad in an Arabic school. Was all the teaching in Arabic there?
Yeah, I have studied in Saudi Arabia school in Islamabad.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole teaching and the whole subjects were in, like the Saudi subjects actually from Saudi Arabia,
Oh,
from
right,
the Saudi
okay.
education. And,
Huh.
yeah. So it were all in Arabic. We had the English subject as a separate subject, but all the teaching was in Arabic. Mathematics,
interesting.
biology, chemistry, and everything was in Arabic.
wow.
Yeah.
So all the students, were they mostly Pakistani or Arabs like you?
Yeah, no, but it was mixed actually. It was mixed. There were a lot of Pakistani students, there were Afghani students, there were from Yemen, there were from Palestine, there were from Jordan, there were from Saudi Arabia, there were from Bahrain, there were from Oman, there were from, what else, Egypt.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a mixture actually. And still, the Saudi school, by the way, is still running in Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually I can say I'm so proud being one of those students who have studied in this school, the school who have provided a lot of us, a lot for us actually.
Yeah.
A lot of education, a lot of teaching, a lot of, they made us, they framed us in a very strong and good way and manner. I cannot ever, forget my teachers who were Pakistanis, who were Saudis, who were Egyptians, who were Palestinians, different teachers from different countries. It provided for us the education, it provided for us strength, it provided for us love and a very good respect. They framed us in that form, how to be very disciplined, how to be very accurate, how to study hard, and even subjects were so easy for us as Arabs. Like studying by your own language isn't a big deal, and I recognize this. When I went to the university, it was a total different thing, but even from an easy thing, you can make it more tough. Just to make the students more strong, more intellectual, more bright and more intelligent. So they framed us in a different way, in a sport, in education, in learning, in teaching, and in being, very accurate at early morning, and very, with a very strict rules and regulation. At that time, I don't know how is the school right now.
Yeah.
I have left the school, or I was done from the school in 2004. It is a while. So now our kids are studying there, like my niece and nephews.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how strong is it,
if it's still the same,
if
yeah.
it's still the same. Our teachers were so loyal, so honest in their, in their message to us. They used to teach even, from one topic we used to get to know a lot of things. They used to guide us to study or read extra books.
Okay.
Yeah, even as it was the reason why I went to Arabic literature and Arabic calligraphy, starting from there.
Wow.
Yeah, our Arabic grammar teachers overall, they were one of the very loving people who have made us love the subject.
Yeah.
And from there, for example, I'm just talking about myself. So I got to studying Arabic literature, going into depth, studying Arabic grammar more, and made it, of course, my father is also, into this field.
Right.
Yes, it was one of the reasons. But even so, our teacher have a big, effect on us in this field.
Yeah.
Other than that, even so, in other subjects, it is not about only this subject. Even in let's take the simplest subject, like the painting class or even the sport class. From there we have gone further.
Right.
So yeah, the school have a lot of, the Saudi Arabia school in Islamabad, especially. I'm talking about my time.
Yeah.
It had a lot of good effect on all of us, whoever studied at that time.
So speaking of Arabic language, how did you exactly, you mentioned that you somehow got the spark of interest towards calligraphy from the school, but that's kind of remained a constant thing in your life. You still do calligraphy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What was it that made you so interested in it?
Actually, I am in love with art. That was, something was with me since my childhood.
Yeah.
Since my, let's say, even 5 or 6 years, I was, in love with the simple sketching and, like this and that. Then I think in class 4, if I'm not wrong, or class 5, we used to have a small notebook just for calligraphy.
Yeah.
And teacher Abdul Wahab Hussein, he was an Egyptian teacher. So he was good in one of the form of Arabic calligraphy. Not, he wasn't perfect, he was good, and he used to like, and he used to see something in me. He used to tell me, Ismail, you have a good hand calligraphy, you have a good hand. So write it good. So I don't know how, it's just, like clicked into my mind, okay, why not?
Yeah.
Let's keep going on. And that was, I can say that was the first click. And he have, give me especially, like in general, but he have, concentrated more on me. He gave me the basic knowledge or grammars of that type of calligraphy. Calligraphy isn't just art.
Yeah.
It is a knowledge, we can say, like it's something that has rules and, like grammars that if you just, what you call it, exceeded that thing, you are not a calligrapher or you have done a mistake.
Right.
So it is a big, thing, like it is, everyone see, it is just a calligraphy, it is just a type of art. But I believe it is a knowledge.
Okay.
And it is a knowledge that has, history. It's a very old knowledge that have a very old history and has a very strong and, a very strong base, by the way. A very strong grammars which, you cannot cross it. If you cross it, so you have done a mistake. Like again, the Arabic Arabic grammars.
Yeah.
What you can say, one tun or tin can make a big difference in Arabic.
Yeah.
Like even so in our Quran, in our religion, it makes a very big difference.
Yeah.
The whole sentence get disturbed.
Exactly.
The whole meaning get changed. So again, I'm saying, it has a very strong base. The Arabic calligraphy has a very strong base, and this base, like you cannot, like mess with it. And it is a very old, by the way, it's a very old art, very old thing. So
has it been practiced right from the beginning of
yeah,
Islam?
in the beginning it was just, like a kind of a hobby. And then when the teacher came into this thing, then I've got more interest in this field. Then I started purchasing books.
Yeah.
And no doubt my father and my mom, actually, they were very much supporting in this field, and my brothers as well. And I still remember once my mom and dad, I think, both of them, we went to Egypt. So they bring with me one of the textbooks of calligraphy.
Okay.
So it was a very good, you can say, big kind of gift for me. It made a very big change. And so I kept it, so I started learning. Yeah, I used to meet some calligraphers here and there, and they used to ask them, but I didn't have regular classes in calligraphy, unfortunately. So by that, I continued this hobby and I made it kind of perfect, let's say.
Do you have like a favorite word or sentence that you like to depict?
I have a favorite type of calligraphy, because there are around 5-6 main types like Diwani or Thuluth or Ruqa, Nasr, etc. So I like the Diwani type of calligraphy. And of course, Quran is one of the most beautiful thing to write and most beautiful thing to recite, and other than that. But I actually avoid writing it. Yet I do write it, but I more concentrate on poetries, Arabic poetries, for a different reason. Quran, you can find it easily here and there, like it is a very common thing. Arabic literature, actually in Pakistan especially, it has a little bit less, like people
you can't find it that easily.
So it is a good way to introduce Arabic poetries and Arabic literature, in this way. So writing something for someone and gift it to them and say, wow, beautiful calligraphy, but what is written in it?
Yeah, and then they have to kind of.
Then it is a good, opening for a conversation and talk and, about Arabic literature and about the writer who have written this poet or whatever. So yeah, I do like Arabic poetries, or writing Arabic poetry, especially the old one, It has strong words, has a very strong effect, and it gives you a space for writing. Yeah.
So again, Arabic gave you another opportunity in life. You got to work for an Arabic TV channel. How did that happen?
Okay, actually I had a good, as we have mentioned, that I had a good Arabic grammar. I had a good, interest in Arabic literature that made me read more Arabic literature, and that the thanks goes actually after Allah to my father, who is too much into Arabic literature and these stuff. So we used to read a lot and we used to discuss a lot, and he used to tell me how to pronounce the words accordingly, properly. This word, is not pronounced like this. Give it more strength. This
Yeah.
word is something romantic, or this poet is a romantic. Give it that, sense. And of course, again, the school had that effect, like, again, the Arabic teacher. So yes, that made me, strong in Arabic grammar, strong in Arabic talking and reading. And so by chance, my elder brothers, they are in media as well. Once I was just free, I was just roaming around with my brother, and he was actually doing a TV report for himself in his office. So I have read that report at that time, that script. So, and by chance, there was a channel searching for a reporter from Pakistan. So that pilot report was provided for them. By time, I think it was a period of 4 or 6 months gap. I didn't have any idea about that this pilot report is going for a specific channel.
Right.
It was just a kind of a favor from my brother to his colleagues, to the office. So they have asked me to do a report. And I said, okay, fine, but at the same time I was, doing my post-graduation in ENT, so
Kind of
okay.
a different field, yeah.
It was a very different field. It was a very, but alhamdulillah, the timing was managed. I got to manage the time accordingly, and things went spontaneous at that, especially, at that training time, it was so tough. I had to be in the government hospital in Rawalpindi at early morning daily.
Wow.
For a continuous 2 years training. Very strict schedule, very tough schedule, like doctor's schedule. So, yeah, but I have managed accordingly. I used to come back from the hospital and just do my work as a reporter. And it went, alhamdulillah, it went fine. It went fine. The channel is basically in London. At that time was the main bureau and production. I was all from London. So there was a time difference.
Okay.
So that helped me a lot.
All right.
That was a good thing for me at that time. Yeah, and things went fine.
What kind of stories did you do for them from here?
Let's say all type. News, political.
Okay.
Yeah, and even features. I have done also documentaries, short documentaries, and even lengthy documentaries for half an hour. And that was, by the way, that was a very, and still actually it is a very beautiful field, I can say, that made me travel almost all over Pakistan.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, like except Balochistan.
Right.
The only province of
Everywhere.
Pakistan that I haven't visited yet is Balochistan. So that made me actually travel almost all over Pakistan, Sindh, Punjab, KPK, and even Kashmir.
Yeah.
So it is going fine so far, and doing different type of stories actually frames you more. And it is also, again, I can say it is a kind of a good experience. A good experience that gives you, different or wider space for thinking, and different way, you can say, let's say it, different thinking to write different scripts and different stories. Finding things, away, from the politics. Suddenly you have to go for features.
Yeah, something completely different.
Going to features, then dividing these features into history, into social, into cultural stuff. It gives you different categories that you'll have to work accordingly. So, yeah. It is a good experience going so far, and actually I like the job and the Arabic language, again, thanks to the Arabic language that we have. And alhamdulillah, it is going fine so far, And the good thing, about being a reporter is that you get to know more. You get to know more. Even from a single country, like your mind gets, trained, to how to think. When I wasn't that much interested in politics, by the way.
Okay.
I wasn't that much interested in politics. Like the main or big stories, like we know about Palestine, and the main issues, like war happening here and there, and that's it. But when you go into journalism, you have to go into politics.
Exactly.
And when you go into journalism, again, you have to go into culture. And when you are into culture, you start thinking about, okay, that's how people are living. The mountainian people here in Pakistan are living this lifestyle. The farmer people here, like living this lifestyle. Okay, what about the different countries? What about the other countries? So that makes you more intellectual, reading more, thinking more, you know, like comparing the countries with each others.
Yeah.
And it gives you a bigger vision, a bigger, you know, like a view and wider view, you know, into politics and different stuff, especially politics and history, that I believe, and culture.
Yeah. All right, time to take a short break. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. I'm here in conversation with Ismail Yunus, a Palestinian doctor. So let's talk about your actual profession that you are engaged with most of the time. You studied to be a doctor. Was
Yes.
that something that your family wanted, or you were yourself interested in?
Actually, it wasn't, and you know, we had a lot of freedom in this sense in home. You know, like my father used to tell us, study whatever you like.
Oh, that's nice.
Fine, and I didn't have, you know, like any idea about what to study. In schooling, I hated mathematics. I didn't like it that much.
Right.
Yet I was so good in it. It doesn't mean that I was bad in it. But I didn't like it that much as a subject. You know, I was too much into literature and Arabic grammars and these stuffs. And you know, by talking and thinking, you know, I had a challenge by my dad. You know, like, I challenge you to be a doctor. So that was the reason I said, Baba, don't challenge me. Then I'll have to do it. He said, that's a challenge. If you succeed, well and good. If you don't succeed, then you are a loser. So I have chosen medicine to study. And you know, like, it was so tough. It was a very tough experience that, you know, suddenly studying that much big subject in a different language.
Yeah.
You know, I've studied all my schooling, 12 years of schooling in Arabic language with only a single subject of English. I haven't read biology or chemistry or other stuffs, or, you know, even the body parts.
Right.
I didn't know their names in English.
Wow.
So I've started, let's say, from zero. You know, like studying the anatomy and physiology and these stuffs suddenly in English.
Wow.
So you know, like, because of that challenge, then I had to work harder, you know, like, I had the chance to fail. It wasn't a big deal, but it was a challenge between my dad, so I will be losing that challenge. And I remember, you know, like, it was in 2005, when I finished, in end of 2005, 2006, when I finished my first year. And I called my dad, Baba, I have passed the exam.
Yeah.
He said, good, congratulations. And so did I win the challenge? So he said, partially.
Right.
I said, no, you have to tell me if I win it, so I'm done. I'll be back. I don't want to do, you know, like. He said, no, the challenge is to continue your education in this field. So of course, you know, it was just a joke, but you know, like, this part was just a joke, and I had to continue, and you know, that was the starting. So alhamdulillah, I have continued. I have studied from Dow Medical College in Karachi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved there to study, actually.
Yeah, I lived there, and you know, like, it was a very different type of experience. Karachi is a different world from Islamabad. It's a very big city, very, you know, rushy city, and very lively city, you know. And you know, the people there also, you know, like, are different, because they are, you know, like, it was a mixture of, you know, different type of Pakistanis, different type of foreigners as well.
Yeah.
We had a different, you know, like, Pakistanis from KPK, we had Pakistanis from Sindh, we had Pakistanis from Punjab, Urdu speaking, and also Kashmiris, you know, were there. And of course, there were a lot of foreigners from Palestine, from Jordan, from Oman, from, you know, different countries. So it was a very, now I can say it wasn't a tough experience. It was a very good experience, but at that time I remember how much, you know, it was tough.
Yeah.
But you know, like, remembering it, you know, like, it was a good experience, alhamdulillah. Karachi people overall, they are very lovely people, by the way. They were so cooperative, and you know, they have provided for us everything, you know, just to go through it.
So now, of course, with the coronavirus pandemic, this must have affected your work as well. Have you had any patients here, or they go to other hospitals?
Corona have affected the work in the both works, actually, the media work and the medical work. In media, you know, we had to give them the daily updates about Corona and this and that, you know, like. And what is the precautionary measures the Pakistani government have taken, and the other stuff, the SOPs were. So, and as a private setup, we didn't have that much patients.
Okay.
Most of the patients, you know, like whoever had a flu or something, definitely they used to come for the ENT specialist first, you know, for checking if they have corona or not. So far, I didn't, you know, like diagnose a case of corona.
Okay.
Most of the cases that came in the suspicion of corona, they turned out not a corona cases.
Okay.
That was alhamdulillah, that was a good thing. And you know, overall the patient used to avoid going to hospitals even for other diseases, you know, because of, you know, like they were afraid to get infected by corona in the hospitals. But we were following all the SOPs anyway, but whoever was, you know, a highly suspected patient, they used to go to the bigger hospitals, the government setups where there is a quarantine, you know, like isolation wards and these stuffs. So there was some changes, you know, like, but alhamdulillah the time have, you know, gone better, and the cases have, you know, like as you can see in Pakistan, the cases are decreasing in number.
So you mentioned that you're used to traveling a lot for your work, and that's obviously another thing that was affected by corona. Like people were pretty much stuck in one place for months. But you've been almost everywhere in Pakistan. Do you have a favorite place where, like, or a city or some area?
Well, you know, like I have been into different places in Pakistan due to this media work. I had a different experience. Actually, my favorite place definitely, you know, is Islamabad. I have been living a lot. And the favorite place is Karachi, because I have spent my youth and the golden age, let's say, you know, at that time in Karachi. And I know most of Karachi. I know a lot of good things in Karachi. So I really do like Karachi. The different experience or special experience I have got going to Kalash Valley.
Wow.
Yeah, actually the point is that we have taken the car from here, from Islamabad till Kalash Valley, and the car wasn't that much tuned accordingly.
Okay.
The driver didn't know about the roads we are going through. And at that time there was the Lawari tunnel, I guess, I don't remember. There was a tunnel anyway. It was closed due to, you know, construction, so we had to go all the way, and it took us 7 hours more extra.
Oh, wow.
So then when we reached, we came to know that how you guys came with this big car. It was, I guess, if I'm not wrong, Land Cruiser or Prado or something like this, a big car. We said, like, we had to come, but we didn't have any other option. We took the car from Islamabad. He said, you know, because the road was so small and there was actually no road. Yeah. We had to go, you know, to just manage it. And the car wasn't tuned accordingly, and the car size was so big. So the experience, why I'm saying it's a different experience, because the road was so horrible, but the valley itself was so beautiful. Yeah. The valley, the nature there was so extremely beautiful, and the people there were totally different from Pakistan. They had a different language, they had a different color, they have a different culture, they had a different, you know, like even dresses. Yeah. So that was a very unique kind of experience. I'm trying my level best not to go there again because it was so scary. You know, like I didn't have a phobia from high altitudes, you know, like altitudes. But after that, I think I do have a phobia kind of thing, you know, because of that experience. But other than that, you know, overall Pakistan is a beautiful country. I believe in that. You know, I had a very good experience in Peshawar, by the way. Oh yeah. I went to Peshawar the first time in my life in 2019. 19. So I was not expecting, you know, people there are very welcoming. They're over welcoming.
It has a totally different image. Somehow, especially in the West End.
It is. And the food there was so extremely amazing. Yeah? Yeah. I went, you know, like whenever now anyone talks about food, I tell them Peshawar. Yeah. Number one.
That's your favorite food city.
Yeah, because you know the meat there, the charsi tikka they do. The charsi tikka they do, it's absolutely different, and it has a very unique taste. So yeah, different countries, different cities, different experience. I can't say that the most favorite is the place where I'm living right now, Islamabad, because you know I know each and every small even street in Islamabad, and I know a lot of people here and a lot of friends here, and the whole family members as well are living here. Yeah. So.
What kind of food do you normally eat here? Do you eat mostly like Pakistani food or Arabic food?
Actually, my wife is Palestinian, so she cooked Arabic food. Okay. She came just like around 6 years back, you know, when we got married, and she came. So we eat, and on a regular basis, we eat Arabic food. But Definitely when I was in Karachi, when I was alone as a bachelor, so definitely I used to eat Pakistani food.
Yeah.
And Karachi, by the way, they have a very good and special biryani. It
Sindhi
is
biryani,
so
yeah.
good, so good, so good. The Karachian biryani, I'm not finding it anywhere else. Like even Lahore, I have eaten biryani, it wasn't that good like the Karachi
Yeah.
biryani. Even, and I'm not finding it here in Islamabad.
Yeah.
Since I came back from Karachi, I'm not finding that good biryani. But our regular food is Arabic food overall, yeah, here in living.
So do you think you'll spend the rest of your life here in Pakistan, or do you have plans of moving somewhere else maybe at some point?
Actually, not plans to go out of Pakistan. I have plans to, you can say, going for a higher level of education. That will be, the thing that I am planning, in future. And it, it might be the reason going out, but I have no intention to leave Pakistan. I believe it is my motherland now. Yes.
Okay.
Yet I'm saying, we came as a refugee, now we are Pakistani by nationality, but yes, I can tell you that the love to go back to Palestine, going back to the homeland doesn't stop. Soul-wise and even religious-wise. And even so, my father and my mom, whenever they keep on talking about, especially my dad, about Palestine and the living there and the lifestyle and the people there and how holy area it is for us. So of course, there will be, if there is any chance to go there, and hope, I wish at least to visit it once, But intentions to leave Pakistan, I don't think. Maybe if there is, an opportunity for a higher education, maybe this will be the reason, or, to go out of Pakistan.
Yeah. But otherwise, you're here.
Otherwise, I'm
Okay, then it's time for a rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Shalwar kameez or suit?
Suits.
Okay. Lahore or Karachi?
Karachi.
I think I know. Yeah.
Karachi, of
Not
course.
surprised. Charsi tikka or chapli kebab?
Charsi tikka, of course.
Sindhi biryani or majboos laham?
Majboos laham, yeah.
Okay. Baklava or halwa?
Baklawa.
An Arabic souk or a Pakistani bazaar?
Pakistani bazaar.
Okay. Your favorite word in Urdu?
There is a specific word, the daksab, when Pakistanis call a doctor.
Okay.
They call him a daksab. That's a favorite.
Nice one. Okay. First thought that comes to your mind when I say Margalla Hills?
Margalla Hills, greenery.
Yeah. Clifton Beach, Karachi?
Calm.
Okay. Peshawar?
Charsi tikka, Nisar Charsi tikka.
The best thing about Pakistan?
Their people.
All right, then it's time for you to write in our visitors book. There you go.
That's a simple sentence.
All right, let's see what you wrote. Thanks for the interview. Love Pakistan, Pakistan Zindabad. Thank you so much for being on the show,
Thank you.
and I hope you continue to have an amazing time in Pakistan.
Thank you very much.
That's it for today. Please join me again next week, and don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts at indus.news. Stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.